And now we are.
All right, we're on.
Fucking episode 8.
8. I almost forgot what we were on.
Yeah. Well, because last time we talked about how there's like the 7-episode hump.
Yeah.
But we're back, motherfuckers.
We put our, that's like getting your tenure as a teacher. We put our feet up on the desk for a minute. We were like, this podcast thing, we got it under wraps. 7 episodes deep. That's when they say you're good.
Yeah, summer break.
Yeah. We had our summer break. Literally, I guess.
Dude, we had to.
Yeah. Randomly, how's my ear, like headphone level? Like, I hear me some, but I feel like I usually have, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I usually have more audio in my ears. That sounds better. I can hear myself better now.
Good.
Cool. We were originally planning on maybe doing 2 episodes back to back. I think we think just do one, even if it's another 2 weeks before we have one. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, we'll just do it like we normally do. If we go 45 minutes or an hour and a half, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, but we'll just plan on recording 1 episode. I was thinking if we do short ones, it would have been nice to have a way where we could just get right in the thick of it on the first one. But we didn't have that. So, we take like 15 minutes before we even get to any real thing outside of just getting started.
Yeah.
Just got to warm up the car a bit.
Yeah. Let it run. It's like winter time.
Yeah.
Can't dive right into it or you crack the block.
So I guess we should just say where we've been. The
Yeah,
first weekend or the first week we didn't have a podcast, I was away.
Yeah.
To Florida to see my mom in the Villages.
The 55 and older.
55 and older. It's interesting there. Have you ever been to a retirement community like that?
No, I have not.
Do you know anything about it?
I just know it's 55 and older.
So most people drive around on golf carts.
I figured that.
I think there's something like 50-something golf courses just in the Villages, which is the actual town. Like that's the zip code, the city, it's the Villages. And it's a lot going on. There's 3 big squares and they have like live music every night and events going on and kind of like farmers market-y looking things in the mornings, probably even during the weekdays, like every day's a weekend, kind of in a sense when you're in a retirement community.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, it's definitely interesting. There's like rec centers everywhere where you just go swim at the pool. You can shoot pool. All the outdoor stuff from tennis courts. They play pickleball there. I think my mom plays water volleyball. It's very activity based, but I had a good time.
Non-nude.
Non-nude. Yeah. Except for the bathrooms at the gym. Those men love walking around naked. The older dudes don't give a shit.
Older guys.
Yeah, I came in and I was looking for the urinal, and a dude and he could tell I was like kind of trying to figure out where to go, and he popped around the corner behind the locker, just like dangling, just spread his legs as wide as could be, and just flopping around. You looking for the bathroom? You looking for the urinal?
Dude, that shit catches you off guard.
It does. I don't know. I mean, if I did it day in and day out, I guess I'd be used to it. I never was on a sports team growing up where I saw my friends just fully naked penis. Like, did you see that much?
No. I mean, I've definitely seen my friends' penises on multiple occasions, but not from sports. Like, because that was the big thing with middle school is like going from elementary to middle school, you were worried about like, oh man, I got to shower in front of everybody. But then that never happened.
Yeah, I know. I didn't like that. I didn't like getting changed for gym class. I didn't like the atmosphere of that. I never was that. I mean, I'm comfortable in a gym, like bathroom, locker room now, but I mean, I'm not going to be the guy who, when they're butt naked, is just walking around and trying to start up conversations with other dudes who are naked, especially like look at them head on, no pun intended, Like,
no, that's a weird situation.
Yeah.
I would definitely throw a towel on.
Yeah, or you just keep looking forward. We can have this conversation without direct eye contact. I mean, this was different. The guy needed to get my attention, and he did. Mm-hmm. And he was curious what, he wanted to help. But in general, I can think of some older dudes who've been just oddly comfortable. What is it going to be like when we're like 70 and just like, is that something you just don't give a shit?
No,
just
dude,
look, it's not even even if it's like very tiny, they don't care.
I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's like a as you get older thing. I think it's a generational thing.
That probably makes sense.
Because I think those guys grew up in like high school locker rooms where you showered after football practice and you did all that shit. And a lot of them probably served in the military.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point.
Group showers and stuff.
I wonder. I mean, I will say that I'm probably more comfortable with it now than I was when I was 17 or 18, inevitably.
Yeah, it's one of those.
But I don't know if I'll ever be like them.
It's one of those things you get older and it just doesn't matter anymore.
Well, which one is it? No. No, yeah, there's definitely it's definitely generational too.
And I'm talking about just seeing it.
Yeah.
Like seeing a 70-year-old dick flop in front of your face. Like it gets to the point where you're not used to it.
Yeah.
But you're okay with it.
So actually, I'm going to go train somebody that I haven't seen in a while that I used to train. And he was kind of a fun character in my life, was president of a motorcycle club for a while, like a pretty legit one. And it's just like an alpha type dude, was military. Well, anyway, I have a funny dick out story. So he has this insane house. And
I think I remember this.
Yeah, and I would do in-home training with him. 3 or 4 days a week. And one time we were working out in the morning and he had these long, kind of like, they just look like sweatpants, but plaid looking, and they're like pajama sweatpants. And he had, it has like the front slit, like a boxer slit. And he was doing a set of shrugs. And you know how the bar kind of like rolls across the front of your junk when you're doing a shrug, if you know what it looks like.
And they're pajama pants, so they have the dick hole with the button.
Dick hole. Dude, I don't even know if there was a button. Like some don't and some do.
Yeah.
If there was a button, it didn't matter. Because next thing I know, I'm looking at him and he's repping it out and his dick is popped out. Now, this dude is such a gangster, not literally completely, but just like, this dude did not give a shit, because you're doing a movement where the bar is rubbing across, like he had to feel steel to dick.
I was going to say, how do you not stop? Regardless of what rep you're on in your set, how do you not just like, oh shit, my dick's out, because this bar is just pulling it up and then pushing it down.
No shift at all. It was just nonchalant. The second he was done, he just kind of put it away. Like, I'm sure he was a little embarrassed or a little bit of something, but he really didn't show any signs of anything. And he didn't say anything about it. I've never talked to him about it.
I doubt he was embarrassed at all.
Yeah.
To continue that.
He just kept going, dude. He did like 8 to 10. It was a high rep set. You're just like, shrugs are a little short movement. So he might have done like a set of 20.
Yeah, there's no embarrassment in that.
No, I can remember. It's funny that gets brought up, because I am seeing him today for the first time, really, in probably, 3 or 4 years. It's been a while since I've gone to his house to do a training thing. I've seen him a couple times since then. He invites me over for like pig roast or whatever he does.
Like parties and stuff.
Yeah, he's got a crazy place, dude. He's got like a pond and this crazy brick indoor pool and this cabin.
An indoor pool?
I'm sorry, in-ground, not indoor. Jesus, no. But it's got like a huge stone diving board. Have you ever seen one of them? And he's got like horse stalls, and yeah, it's pretty legit. It's a cool place. It's probably one of the coolest places I've been in, like, period. It's a wild house. But back to the gym thing, the Villages. Yeah, that was fun. I took my, like the girl I've been seeing. Mm-hmm. I took her.
We should say she was in here when Tommy was.
She was. Yeah, we didn't bring that up on the episode, but, yeah. So,
we should also say that something else changed when you were out of town.
You might want to give me a hint.
Your age?
Oh, I turned 31. Nothing overly significant. I was on vacation for it. We went to there was a cool elephant sanctuary we went to. We went to the beach one day. I know I'm pretty bad with actually, unless there's a specific, like, this is your birthday party, it's hard for me to like think about my birthday as my birthday.
Do you like your birthday or do you hate it?
I am kind of cool with it. So I don't like feeling obligated to do things with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see me, like my friends, if they want to see me around my birthday. And then, like I said, I went to Florida where my mom is. It makes it hard to schedule seeing my dad. It's not overly important to me. There's probably like 3 or 4 people. It's nice to like, your parents, and I wouldn't even care if my brother didn't wish me a happy birthday. Like it wouldn't affect me at all. I'm sure I've missed 1 or 2 of his as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I would just not like that.
Dude, I don't give a shit. I'd rather not acknowledge it. Not for like I'm getting older type deal, but I just don't care.
Yeah. Parents and girlfriend are it. And honestly, it's tough. Like my grandfather, like my Papaw calls me, and it's like tough. It's like I'll be in the middle of something, and then by the time I can call him back, it's like, how much time do I have? And then he's weird if my cell phone cuts out. He gets frustrated with cell phones. He's never been on the internet.
Where are they down? He's down in Tennessee or something?
He's in Virginia. It's called Tazewell, Virginia. It's pretty far away, though. Like a lot of parts of Virginia are only like 3 to 4 hours. This is about a 7-hour drive, 6.5, 7-hour drive.
So it's like bumfuck Virginia then.
Yeah, man. There's not much going on. I mean, it's a nice little town that he lives in, and he has a nice cozy setup. Like it's like a modern house, and it's not like he lives in like what you would think of when you think of like Boonies, Virginia. Like it's a sweet area with a decent town. But he is still very much like not up with technology in any way. It was hard for him to get cable when they did that. Like switching to DVD was tough. I don't even know if he's ever embraced anything DVD.
Well, how old is he?
Oh God, I'm not good at that. Maybe he's 82.
Yeah, my grandmother's like 85 or 86 or something like that, and my mom has to tape off the remote so that she can only press the power button, channel, and volume.
Yeah, that he's kind of I mean, I think he's scared of being the person that needs like all the extra help, that he just does what he knows. So he's not in any way a bother to anybody.
Doesn't have to ask anybody for anything.
Yeah. Cause like I know it frustrates my dad, who's his son, to like have to call me and be like, Bud, can you come help me with the computer? And then I come, and you know how humiliating it is for him when I'm like all I do is unplug it and plug it back in. The router, how many times I've tried articulating it to him on the phone. I don't know what it is. Like, I think certain people don't think they can understand it, that they won't even try to follow the simple instructions you're telling them.
Yeah.
Because if you just took somebody who understood the English language and didn't know anything that they were looking at, I could talk them through it. Yeah. But there's a box. It's black. It's got a few blinking lights. Can you read the words on there? Internet, that one. What color it? Like, I can help you, but he just does not think I can, or he doesn't think he can do it. I can't tell you how many times it's just been something's not plugged in, and I go from far away to do it.
Yeah, it's taking you like 45 minutes to get up there.
It has to. It probably takes me a little bit longer right now.
Dude, my dad kicked me out of the house one time because I tried to overstep my bounds with technology.
What'd you do?
Well, my mom and my dad moved down to like the Rehoboth area.
Yeah.
In like 2008, 2009, something around there. And one time I went down there and I was drinking a little bit, and his cable box was fucking up. I'm like, did you just unplug it? He goes, yeah, I tried that. I fucking tried that. I'm like, well, did you though? I'm just, and this is like 5 minutes of us going back and forth but did you unplug it?
Yeah.
And I went into the back of the TV and I started to try to unplug it. And my dad looks at my brother and he goes, somebody better get him the fuck out of here before I throw him out. and both of us were drinking. And keep in mind, this wasn't the relationship that me and my dad had. Like, never hit me, was never abusive or anything like that. But I heard him say that, and I had a couple drinks under my belt, and I turned around and I said, no one's got to throw me out of anywhere because I'm fucking leaving.
All over that. Technology, man. Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's ego. It's more ego than technology.
It is. It's humiliating to not understand it. At times I feel that way with like cell phone technology. I'm not the best with cell phones. And when people are really knowledgeable with certain things, and I'm like, I've never done that. There is like a trigger, like there's like an element of like frustration that you don't get it or you don't understand it or you haven't done it. And they make it sound like it's so like they can't believe it.
Yeah.
It's
like you're a fucking idiot because you didn't know how to do this.
Yeah, because for the longest time I was pretty good with computers, and I mean I'm not that up to date, but I can get away with like desktop knowledge, and I know my way around. And if you're good at fucking Googling,
Yeah.
you can definitely handle that. But phones are kind of tough.
Google and YouTube.
Yeah,
That'll
absolutely.
solve any issue you have.
I know, dude. It's a skill that like that's another one that I think people who don't go to Google or YouTube for stuff regularly, they just don't want to start it because they don't want to be the person who can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So they reject it.
Yeah.
It's like so many people who are against GPS. More times than not, it's something they don't understand about it that as you learn using a GPS, you start to figure out. Like, maybe it's taking you a different route because it knows the traffic is a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you know that sometimes the audio gets delayed. So you have to kind of like look ahead and keep in mind, you
Yeah.
know, there's little shit. Sometimes it tells you to turn right, but really you're staying on the same road and it's bearing right. And so like there's things that you learn through time, but you have to be that idiot at some point. And people hate being the idiot.
Yeah. No one likes being the idiot. No one likes being the asshole.
Yeah, it's easy with GPS. You can just blame the GPS. But with certain things with technology, you kind of got to take the blame.
User error.
Especially when it's like, just unplug it and plug it back in. Well, then I want to return it. What the fuck do I got to do that for?
Fucking thing's broken.
So I guess, okay, wrapping that up, you had, I think, you had a couple things.
Yeah,
The one big one, you went on vacation.
I went out of town a few times. I went down to the Outer Banks.
Was that the big one?
That was the big one. That I think we were gone like Friday to Wednesday type deal. And that was okay. I'd never been to the Outer Banks before. It was cool.
Did you guys rent a beach house?
Yeah, my girlfriend's grandparents rented a big beach house, like right on the beach.
That's pretty much one of the only ways to do it there. I don't
Yeah.
even know if they have hotels.
No, I don't think they do. There's like townhouses and stuff, but it's not like there's a Hilton or a Marriott or something you can stay in.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. There's a lot of people in one house.
Did you find yourself hanging at the house a lot?
No, we were on the beach more than anything. Because have you ever been to the Outer Banks?
Yeah, one time.
Dude, there's nothing to do.
I know. That's why I asked that. Like, did you just stay at the beach all day? Did you?
Yeah, I mean, we'd stay at the beach until like 5 or 6.
Did you have a car?
Yes. And we also brought bikes down too. So it was like if you needed a little reprieve, you could go on a bike ride.
Did you two get away at all? Or did you pretty much just stick with the group?
No, we stuck with the group. Well, there's nowhere to get away to. It's not like you can be like, oh, hey, we're going to go down to the strip of bars and grab a drink for the night.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh, shit, a bar, we'll come.
Yeah, for real, though. I mean, that's how it was.
Yeah.
It was good, though. I mean, the way it was set up, I think there were 3, maybe 4 families, but all within inside her family. So every night, one family cooked a dinner, and then one night we went out to dinner, which was cool. Especially for me because I like cooking.
What did you cook?
Steak tacos.
Ooh.
Carne asada.
Oh, carne asada. Damn.
Dude, they were a hit.
What does that mean? What type of carne asada? I think I know carne. Is that beef?
Yeah, it's just grilled meat. I think that's what it translates to. I don't know. I took German.
Me too. We talked about
We
that.
did, yeah, first episode, I think.
You also went to Ocean City?
Yeah,
It's
went
like the
to
polar opposite.
Went to Ocean City once, and then, like I said, my mom lives in Rehoboth, so that's easy enough to go down just for the weekend. You got a free place to stay.
What? I haven't been to Rehoboth Beach in a long time. What's that like? Is it crowded?
It's completely different than Ocean City. It's completely different. It's more like family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
there's restaurants and bars and stuff, really good restaurants and bars, but it's nowhere near as big as Ocean City is.
Am I right in that at some point in time, like when we were growing up, maybe I'm wrong, but was that more of like a like stereotypically
Gay
like a
beach?
gay beach, right?
Dude, it still is.
Very much.
Very much.
Okay.
Gay and lesbian.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my mom's neighbors, they are like full-time residents and are just as gay as can
Full-time
be.
gay.
Yeah.
All gay long. Sorry, that's terrible.
40 hours a week.
Yeah.
Benefits and everything. Nah, yeah, they're and they're like 70 years old, and they have like a little swimming pool that's probably only a little bit bigger than this room. And dude, there's like 22-year-old guys just flowing in and out of that bitch all day. They're the sugar daddies.
Yeah, so that's interesting that's how that's worked out. And it's been that way for a long time. I wonder when Rehoboth Beach became like a fairly gay spot. I don't know many places that are like known for being gay. Like as far as like I've been to a lot of beaches. It's odd to me that is a thing about Rehoboth. I mean, I'm cool with it, but I've never heard that before. Outside of gay bars.
It's as long as I can remember. Because
Mount Vernon, that's kind of a gay part of the city.
Is Mount Vernon, is that where like the hippo and shit was?
I think so. I'm pretty sure Mount Vernon is like the gay city. If there was like the one that you would say, I think you would say Mount Vernon.
I don't even know where the fuck Mount Vernon is in relation to the city.
Yeah, I don't know.
Once you start getting into those small neighborhoods, I don't know. I know Hamden, Fells Point, Canton, Federal Hill, and that's about it. And I lived in the city.
You know downtown.
Yeah, downtown. But I lived down there for like 3 years.
Those are the main ones, and then Mount Vernon is like right up next. Like Hamden is probably the least. Canton is the least city-like out of all the neighborhoods that you named.
Yeah.
So that's towards the bottom. That like it definitely goes downtown, and then you have Fells Point, and then probably Fed Hill, and then you'd have to go.
Fed Hill is pretty similar to Canton, I would say.
It is, but it's so much more city-like as far as like driving and it's you're right by the harbor too.
Yeah, that's true.
Canton is kind of like a crossover between like city streets, but they have like a safe
suburb.
Yeah, like a Towson-y.
Yeah.
It's definitely very, very white in Canton. It definitely reminds me of being like in the city, but also in Towson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Mount Vernon's whatever. There's some good restaurants or stuff I've been to in there, but I don't know much about it. It's hard to find parking, and there's a lot of residential, I think.
In Mount Vernon?
Yeah, like a lot of a lot of people live there. But well, I mean, you don't see that in Fed Hill. There's like the townhome stuff. I think in downtown, I don't even know where people live. Even in Fells.
Downtown, you'd be surprised how many of those buildings are fucking apartments.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like crazy like loft apartments and stuff there.
I went out with a girl who lived downtown. And do you remember like that really crazy girl I went out with who had like a thing where she like was like into like domination shit, like wanted to be like dominated, and it was just too much for me.
Vague.
Oh, she wanted like
yeah. She like wanted to be choked and shit.
Yeah. I don't know how far she wanted to get, like, because she kind of tested the waters, saying a few things. I was like, and mind you, she like broke something in her foot or had surgery like right before we started going out.
Oh, dude, I remember this.
Yeah, like right before our first date, she had some foot surgery and she was on crutches and like had at like a 3/4 of I think maybe just below her knee, a below her knee cast, like shin and foot cast.
It'd be funny if you just pushed her ass over.
Oh my God. That was
there. You go, bitch.
Yeah, it's not worth talking about any more than that, but I'd have to think. But she had some issues. That's tough for me. If somebody has weird sexual issues.
I totally remember you talking about that now. This was like years ago.
Yeah, maybe
6 years pushing.
No, it
that?
was after Steph, before Jen. So somewhere in like that year of time. So we're talking about, I guess, 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that bubble. 3.5, 4 years ago.
How the time flies.
I know. So one thing that I thought we could definitely talk about, I actually made a Facebook post asking this. So
I saw it. You did it about, well, when I saw it, it was 37 minutes ago. At this point, it's probably an hour or two.
Yeah, and what sparked it is I saw a buddy of mine talk about having kidney stones, and he was talking about how painful it was on his Facebook.
Dude, that's a pain that I hope. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. What were you going to say? Because it's probably exactly what I said.
Yeah, well, because the Facebook post that I saw that you put up was, what's the worst pain you've ever endured or something like that, or experienced?
Physical pain, yeah.
Yeah, that is something I hope I never have to experience.
That's what I told him. I was like, I have a phobia of two things, that and a hernia, but a hernia, it's not necessarily because of the pain, but it weirds me the hell out.
A hernia weirds me out just to like look down and see a lump outside of your stomach.
I can read people talk about stuff, but when when they're like telling it to me, it fucking gives me the weird feelings. I have to stop people.
Have you ever seen a hernia?
Yeah, I have. It's really hard for me to think about without getting queasy.
I've never seen one.
I've seen somebody who had one where every time they like flexed or whatever, they could like
it just like
it popped out.
Dude, it's your fucking intestine popping out of your abdomen.
I know, and it was like a big. It's literally your intestines. It's just like internal. You think it's literally your intestines? Maybe it can be.
I thought it
anything
was
in there. I know it's a hole in your abdominal wall or something.
Yeah, and I think what happens is your intestine pops through your abdomen, and then it's just like there, because the issue with it is if they can't get it back in, you'll develop an infection because the shit can't pass through.
Well, the one I saw was definitely the large intestine. It was fucking gross, dude. It looked like a penis. Oh. And it would go away pretty much fully. Now, I've seen a couple people show me that they have a hernia and it's like the size of like the tip of your pinky. It doesn't weird me out as much. But when it's like somewhere between index finger and hot dog, we're getting a little bit disgusting. Not that long. Not that long, but that size, that girth, and maybe like, I don't know.
I've never
a couple inches.
I've never seen one. I've never Googled it. I don't know what it looks like because, like you, that shit grosses me out.
It's got fangs and the hands kind of like come out to the side.
Oh, kind of like one of those twins that are born, like people born with the twins growing out of them.
Have you ever seen Alien?
Yeah.
Or is it Aliens?
I don't fucking
We can always just say Spaceballs. It's in the beginning of Spaceballs, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah.
Don't they do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's just like that. So you're starting to see that little alien head pop through. And if you don't get it dealt with, it it's
matures.
Serious. What if that was a thing? What if we all just had an alien somewhere in our body and you had to contain it with and if something happened, the alien would pop out and that would be the death of you. And then that creature would live on. Like they have wasps that get inside of, what do they get inside of? Caterpillars and then like come out of them. Have you ever seen that? And that's getting too many asides in one.
Yeah.
But we don't need to go much further with the alien head thing. We can move on.
Yeah. Well, we can go back to the pain.
Yeah. So, I should just pull up my Facebook and read a couple and think, if you haven't think of
the fucking
stuff for you.
Oh, well, because I saw it earlier, so I already have thought of it.
Yeah.
And I know what I've got, but
okay, cool. I just have a few. I don't have one. I have a couple that I'll mention briefly, but I don't think I have one in specific that stands out. But let's just read a couple real quick.
Like I said, though, dude,
kidney
stones scare me. They fucking terrify me.
Yeah, here we go. Randy shattered his hip socket. Amber Adams, who we graduated with, has a watermelon popping out of Dwight. Jif. Do you say GIF or GIF?
I don't know.
It's fucking annoying. I want to say GIF just because I hate being corrected by people who are logical. And they're like, why are you saying GIF? It's GIF.
I call it a GIF.
I should go back to calling it GIF. But the problem is somebody corrected me on it and they were right. But it's annoying that they're right because it's annoying to say GIF. And then especially if somebody's like they say something. Did you see that GIF? I was like, oh, the GIF of this. And they're like, they think you're correcting them. You don't want to be the one that's annoyingly correcting them. But it's actually supposed to be pronounced GIF. But fuck that. That's a thing. Well, I promise you, if you look it up, you'll find like between the creator and Barack Obama talked about it. It's like it was a big thing at one point. But I don't know if it's not like it's in the fucking dictionary.
Did I say I call it a GIF or a GIF?
GIF.
Yeah, I call it a GIF.
G. Of course you do.
It's a fucking G, not a J.
I know, but giraffes have a lot to say about that.
Look at the fucking peanut butter. Jiffy. How's that spelled? What's that start with?
Well, I know, but giraffe.
Yeah. Starts with giraffe. That's the first letter of it.
Giraffe. The giant letter giraffe.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but
I don't either.
Here we go. Shane cased a jump on a snowboard so hard that I shattered the rear binding, then cartwheeled with a board connected to only one leg. I dislocated my hip, broke my hip socket, spiral fractured my femur all the way while my leg was facing the wrong way.
Dude, oh wait, that's another thing.
That sounds pretty bad.
So the femur's the bone coming from the hip to the knee, right?
Yes.
I'm terrified of breaking that.
Oh yeah? That's the one that's hard to break.
That's why I'm fucking scared of it.
Okay, all right. I've never broken a normal bone, so I'm just more scared of realistic ones to break. Like my shin or my forearm.
Yeah, but
even breaking a rib badly.
Look at how big that bone is, and I've heard like people talk about the sound that it makes when it breaks.
Ew.
Like a fucking gunshot type thing.
Yeah, no, that would suck. That would definitely suck. I don't, oh God, yeah, that would definitely be weird. Chainsaw on the arm, torn calf muscle, pneumococcal meningitis.
That
paper
hurts?
cut. Meningitis?
Yeah.
Whatever pneumococcal is. This is a guy who's had MMA fights and stuff, so I take his word for it. Looks pneuma like pneumonia. Pneumococcal meningitis. I don't know. Paper cut. Oh, that's funny. Fez. Kidney stone. Oh, there we go.
Let's get that dude on here.
Who had a kidney stone?
No, Thez.
Oh, Thez. Yeah, he should. That'd be fun. Pudendal neuralgia.
The fuck is that? What? Like, if you're gonna put these scientific terms up, at least give a goddamn explanation. Because, like, how am I supposed to be like, oh yeah, that fucking hurts, or it sounds like it hurts?
And on Facebook, you can't copy shit right. Like, you can't select.
Yeah.
Like to copy just that on my phone. So I have to remember how to spell that when I hit Google because it does make me curious. I am going to look that up. Went to go number 2 and a bucket of blood came out. Oh God, could you imagine shitting a bucket? No, sorry, that's terrible. But, and every time I went to the bathroom, only blood came out. Thank you. Found an abscess, cut into my stomach, 2 blood transfusions, 185 to 135 in 20 days. I think he almost died. I remember that. It happened like right before this guy started comedy. This sounds awful. Had an earring taken out because my ear got infected. Dude had to use pliers. That doesn't sound as bad as the other ones, but you know how infections feel?
I got my ears pierced on the boardwalk with the gun.
Uh-huh.
So it just puts like the dumb little like fake diamond stud in your ear. And my shit got so swollen and infected that it would like start to swell up over top of the stud. So I understand whoever that is, what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I'd have to sit there and like put my thumb back behind my earlobe and like squeeze the pus out of it just to release the pressure.
Oh. Ugh.
I'd wake up in the morning and you couldn't even see the stud.
What were you putting on it to help it work? Just like Neosporin?
Well, finally I figured out that warm water and sea salt takes the swelling down.
Oh, okay.
So that's all I did.
root canal, heat exhaustion, patellar fracture.
Heat exhaustion doesn't hurt. It just sucks. That's not pain.
Well, I mean, it depends what level, I guess, right? Like, I mean, if he's saying it's the most painful thing, and then he says car accidents don't feel good, I guess pain or tooth pain takes the cake. You know, it had to be a pretty bad case of heat exhaustion. Let's see.
Whoever that is, you're a pussy.
Oh, this is T-Rex. This guy used to host an MMA podcast. You know, do you ever see remember on 98 Rock?
Yeah, T-Rex.
Todd Rex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comedian.
Yeah. Is he still talk? You ever hear him on 98 Rock at all? I haven't seen him at Magoobies or anything in a while.
I feel like he's
a West Coast comic. Used to be local.
Used to be local.
Yeah, but then he's lived in the West Coast for a while, but he would still come back through a lot.
Is he big now? Like, has he blown up?
I thought he was kind of big then, but I maybe he does. For all I know, he doesn't even do comedy anymore. I haven't seen his name in forever, but he commented, riding freestyle BMX, went over the handlebars, which I've done 1,000 times. Come on.
Oh, I saw that. I didn't even recognize the name.
Oh, he said, but this time, the very sharp edge of the rear axle peg slammed into my shin bone, literally dry you from the pain. And he said, and I fucked myself up a lot. Yeah, like something like that, you might not think it's going to be the most painful thing. Like, oh, something just slammed into my shin. But, I mean, have you ever walked into a trailer hitch? With the shin? I mean, that fucking hurts.
That'll drop you.
Induced labor with no epidural. Somebody else said having a kid with no sort of pain thingy, I think someone said.
Epidural, I think is.
I'm starting to scroll a little bit. IED blast. Oh, the one guy, Joe Cash now, it's not the funniest thing, but he said about how his leg got blown off by a bomb. And it really did happen. He's like a wounded warrior. He's a comic, so we can laugh a little. You can laugh at anything when you're talking about comics.
Support the troops.
I can't even keep up with it. It's a lot. I wish I could maybe next time I'll read a couple more. Andrew King. At 9 years old, I tried to adjust my bike chain while seated on my bike and accidentally pushed the pedal and my finger went in the sprocket chain all the way around.
Oh, shit.
He said I don't think I've ever felt anything worse. It was gross too. When I see dudes on here who clearly have probably experienced some stuff, I get curious. That sounds pretty awful.
You understand how a sprocket and the chain works on a bike, right?
Yes, the sprocket, the spiky parts go through the hole.
Yeah.
And if it goes all the way around, that's got to do it. He didn't get specific, but I would like to ask him if there was like serious, or was it just painful, or like what happened? How much blood is there scars? You know?
That's one I'd like to dive into.
Yeah. I'll ask. I see him every once in a while. He's a guy who owns CrossFit Bel Air. So what was yours? Or if you want, I mean, you can go first if you want.
Mine aren't bad because I try not to put myself in situations where painful shit happens. Everybody's cracked their shins on the pedals of a BMX bike when they're like 10 years old making jumps.
Yeah.
I'd say the cracked rib was probably the worst.
The recent one.
Yeah. But not because of the initial pain, but because of the pain that followed afterwards. Like every little movement just like hits you.
Yeah.
It's like you can't get out of bed without getting a shooting pain through your side. That's probably the worst.
Yeah. That sounds pretty bad. I think of like immediate things when I think of it, like things that wear on me, like the wisdom tooth pain I had coming at, sometimes that was unbearable, and like back pain that's lingered for like 3 weeks, and it's like so bad at times where you can't bend over. I don't know if it was probably some sort of sciatica, like something pressing on my sciatic nerve.
I threw my back out one time and that fucking hurt.
Yeah.
That was bad.
I've dealt with that on and off my whole adult life, less in the past few years than I did previously, but it's definitely up there. But for me, well, I got staph infection one time from jiu-jitsu. I actually have a scar.
Oh, on your arm?
Do you see that scar?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to see in this lighting, but It's a pretty big scar, and that pretty much the part that was the scar was just the part that was like open. Because you know what staph looks like, right?
No clue.
Have you ever gotten an ingrown hair so bad that instead of it looking like a pimple to be popped, it looks like an open wound? There's just like kind of like a gaping. If it was bigger, it would be like a crater in your arm.
Yeah, kind of. I might have had a couple of staph infections then.
Yeah. Every time you get an ingrown hair, anything, it's a form of staph infection, right?
Yeah.
It just usually doesn't get out of hand. Because, like, imagine what happens at jiu-jitsu is you take this infection and you're rubbing it around all sorts of other infection, all sorts of other sweat, which is a breeding.
Yeah.
It's awful for it.
It's hot and moist, which is where germs and shit just breed.
Yeah. So, anyway. Well, I was just kind of ignoring it. I was in fight camp, and I was just kind of like, I get ingrown hairs and stuff. So I was like, it's just some ingrown hair. And then I noticed it was pretty sore. But that happens. Like I get them on my knees, and it's like I don't want to go on my knee on the wrestling mat. I almost always have a couple on my knees from it. So I didn't think much of it. But then I started realizing if I even remotely touched it, it would just make me just tingle through my whole body.
Yeah.
By the time I got to the doctor, or I went to the Minute Clinic or whatever at Target. By the time I got there, it was getting pretty bad, man, and it was pretty unbearable. But that night, it's a good thing I went when I did, because the antibiotics, I guess, hadn't started kicking in yet. Because the peak pain, I kept reading people say use a hot compress, that it draws some of the fluid out, especially when there's like an open sore. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. Well, the water at the gym I was working at in Delta was very hot. So I was like, this is perfect. So I'm touching it. It didn't feel terrible, but I knew it was hot. It was steaming. I got a rag and I put it on the infection. And in about like 2 seconds, dude, I got the craziest rush of pain all through my body, and the whole room started going like black and bright. And
oh, really?
It was the hottest, most burning, stinging sensation I've ever felt. Like a warm and like hot, but I'm trying to think of what it would even compare to. Maybe alcohol on a cut, as far as how you feel it in your whole body, or you feel it, but it was a different sensation.
But your vision was like getting blurry.
I
and
almost
stuff?
passed out, dude.
Really?
I think it was going to make me pass out. It was so fucking painful.
And
I've never felt like that before.
You'd probably consider yourself for having a pretty high pain tolerance.
I don't like very sharp things. I think more than anything, I don't like anticipating pain. Like, as far as, I do the MMA stuff, I don't mind getting punched. But like, I'm not, playing paintball makes me nervous. Because I know it's inevitable I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's not like a part of the game. It's just like a weird side effect. Like, I don't like getting hit by a baseball. I'm probably a little bit more hypersensitive to things like getting drilled by something randomly. Not because the pain bothers me, but I anticipate it and I think about it a lot. I'm more anxious about it, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I had a conversation through all of my tattoos. Obviously, I do stuff that involves pain. Sharp pains can bother me. Like when I bang my shin on something, you know how somebody said that? Like,
yeah.
I have a lot of memories of that. And kickboxing, my shins, it took me a while
to build that tolerance.
Yeah,
up.
I'm definitely sensitive to some stuff. That was up there. That time I got stung by all those bees was just one of the most terrifyingly painful moments of my life. I was getting swarmed by, no joke, 100 bees, and I was on a gator in the middle of the woods.
That is one of the funniest fucking stuff.
I'll go over it briefly. We're spraying for random weeds in the middle of this, 700-acre property.
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm just in the middle of the woods, and you can vouch that every bit of this is true too.
Yeah.
Terry tells it the same way.
There's an eyewitness account other than you.
So basically, there's a sprayer attached to a gator, like an off-road. It looks somewhere between a 4-wheeler and a golf cart. You know, like if people don't know what it looks like,
a UTV.
Okay, so I'm in this thing, and all of a sudden, we're like in the middle of the woods, and I guess I'm just over this tree stump, or I think it came out from under a tree. And I'm just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, I feel myself start to get stung. Like, I get stung, and I go, ow. And then I get stung again. And, dude, I realize that there are bees everywhere. Now, all of a sudden, I had this memory of a time I was watching TV, and like something you always heard as a kid was that if you stay calm, bees won't sting you.
Yeah, because of like they're infrared or something.
Yeah,
Like
well,
they
mind you-
smell your fear or some dumb shit.
I actually think that's more of like a honeybee bee catcher thing anyway. Like if you're aggressive towards a wasp, it's gonna sting you. But yellow jackets are just assholes. It's honeybees and like bees that only have like a stinger that if they sting you, they die. I don't think that's the case for yellow jackets and like wasps. But either way, like I think that was actually a honeybee thing, right? Like wasps actually aren't a bee. They're not the same. And like a yellow jacket is actually a form of a wasp, I believe. And
that sounds right. I'll go with that. I'll give you that one.
I've Googled it before, but I could be remembering incorrectly. But anyway, yellow jackets are just assholes. And but either way, I had this memory. That's what I thought to do. Instinct took over, and I'm sitting there in all-out Zen mode, trying to breathe slowly, and I'm just getting lit up. And I'm just like, ow. Ow. And I can't help but say ow, but I'm saying it calmly. Well, Terry, the other guy, he doesn't know what the hell I'm doing, but he sees that there's this swarm of bees, and I'm just sitting there relaxed saying ow repeatedly. And he's just looking, and I hear him go like, it's like a fucking scene, like getting the chopper or whatever, like in
Get in the chopper.
Yeah. It was like, Mike, run! Run! They're after the gator! Run! Because I didn't know what to do. And he was like yelling, dude. He was like nervous as fuck.
Oh my
because
God.
If gun to my head, I would feel very safe saying there were more than 60 bees. And if you told me 100 and said over or under, I would probably say over. Not that they were all on me, but they were swarming.
Yeah.
Like I actually didn't get stung once I got away from it.
That shit is.
I'm scarred since then, dude. I've got stung twice in a row at that one. I'm done with it.
Oh, it's so
I got stung yesterday.
That's so ridiculous. Why would you sit there and take it?
Because I heard
I
that
know.
you were running away. They're bees. What I mean, if instinctually they chase you and become more aggressive and more likely to sting you if you run. Oh, keep in mind, it was only about like 8 seconds, 10 seconds of me doing that. Maybe 12, 15 tops. Like I had to think about what my plan B was. No, that's a terrible pun. I just hear them every time I say them.
That's the day after.
Yeah, so like
That's your plan B.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do, but then when Terry yelled that out, I just got out and started running, and they stayed on the gator.
I so badly wish I could have seen that happen.
Dude, it was
Fucking
pretty
A.
wild.
Every time I hear that story, I just wish that's one of those points in time where I wish I could go back in time and just watch this happen. You trying to calmly sit in a vehicle while getting repeatedly stung.
I did an okay job. I don't know how everyone else would do, but I think I would finish in the top 10% of people to be able to do that. But it sucked. It was.
I bet.
It sucked. I was glad when
Yeah,
I realized
bees-
there was another option just to get out of the vehicle. I was like, oh shit.
As opposed to just
Ooh.
sitting there and taking it. Dude, bee stings fucking hurt.
Yeah, they do. I don't like it. I've gotten more and more used to them. So when I only get stung, I more so, it's kind of like a tattoo. For the most part, it's the fucking week or two after that sucks. Like for bee stings, it's the next few days that really annoy me.
See, for me, for a bee sting, it's the like 25 minutes after the initial sting.
Oh, where
Is
it's like burning?
Yeah.
Oh, what is up with that? Is it just because your body, it infects, it's like poison?
I guess it's the poison. I don't
Fuck,
know.
dude, it sucks. I hate it. Mine itches right now. It's like under my hamstring. I got the one I got yesterday for itches.
God,
I know.
so fucking funny. I got a video of me taking some pain if you want to see it.
I do.
So here, I'll set it up for you. It's a water balloon slingshot. You know what
Okay.
those are? The 3-man slingshots?
I do. But
Where
let me
you got
see.
one person on the left, one person on the right, and
then
then
somebody
a
pulls it
third
back.
person pulling it back.
How big is it?
How big's what?
Is it? Oh, so it's a normal size water balloon.
Well, it's a water balloon slingshot, and then I'm standing 20 yards away from it.
Okay.
And my buddies loaded up a stick of butter
Okay.
into it and launched it at me.
Let's see. Oh, stick of butter?
Yeah.
Dude, that would piss me off so much.
Well, no. It was like a,
You let them do it.
yeah.
Was it warm butter?
Yeah. It was melted butter.
Okay.
Or not melted, but room temperature.
Okay, good.
So I did take some safety precautions, and I put on a hockey goalie helmet.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm just in a fucking bathing suit.
Okay.
So go ahead, press play on that.
Oh, jeez. Oh, dude, how fast does that fucking thing go? Oh my God, dude. That looks
Like, no shit, probably 20 yards away from it.
that's got to be fast. That's like,
Let me see. Look. Oh, shit.
does baseball pitchers throw things that fast? Maybe not. That whips.
And see, my thing was, it's like, okay, I'll put my hands behind my back and I'm going to take it like a tough guy. But yet this thing hits 4 inches away from my dick,
Yeah.
which that's what let's see if I can get the audio in on it.
Yeah, you can hear it. Oh, dude, it's immediate. It's like there's no hang time. That whips, that flies like a laser beam. Oh, yeah, you hear it good. Oh my God. Dude, that is vicious. How bad did that welt up?
Not bad.
Oh my God.
No.
I bruise easily from that kind of shit.
Well, I'm kind of used to that kind of stuff, just from like what we talked about,
yeah.
like being a goalie and shit. That doesn't take away from the pain.
Felt worse, that or getting like pelted by a lacrosse ball? Because the first thing I thought of was like getting hit by like a major league baseball. Like that has to be somewhat similar.
That probably hurt worse.
What the butter?
Yeah.
It looked brutal.
Because a lacrosse ball, like if that's getting shot at you, there's a bit of adrenaline involved with that.
Yeah.
A baseball would fucking hurt.
Have you ever like really hurt yourself with a nut shot? Have we
Yeah.
ever talked about nut shots on here?
I've taken plenty of them, and I don't think we have.
Tell me like one or two that are just awful moments.
Okay, so
I don't think anyone said nut shot. My one buddy Lenny fractured his nut and then won an MMA fight.
what?
Yeah, dude, and it was like gigantic. He's crazy. He's the craziest, dude.
There was
He's
a
a nut.
There was a guy that we went to high school with who graduated a few years before us, who in a lacrosse game like dove in front of a shot. He wasn't a goalie or anything, and he dove in front of it to block it, and it hit him square in the nuts. And he wasn't wearing a cup, and it like ruptured his shit.
Yeah, this guy Lenny's like Albanian and just like fucking like intense. I mean, he's like a hell of an MMA fighter and just like rough minded. That it's serious toughness. That has to be unbearable. A ruptured testicle.
I wouldn't want to experience that pain.
You don't have anything that stands out with like your nuts? Or
No, I do. You know, Pat Hanley, Big Pat Hanley, the dad who owned
Hanley's gym.
Hanley's
Yeah.
gym. He was a pretty good lacrosse player, and the dog's in here.
Yeah.
He was like warming me up one time at Hartford, and I was the only goalie on the team. And he just rips this one shot that bounced off the ground and kind of came like up underneath, kind of hit like just north of taint.
Yeah.
And my cup just kind of hit my balls and just fucking dropped me. That's, you know what? That's the worst pain. Getting hit in the balls.
That's up there, man. Yeah.
It doesn't take much.
It's
You could-
immobilizing.
You could just get like a little like flick. Like someone could flick you on your right nut.
Dude, I have a funny story to tell you. So it goes hand in hand. I was going to tell you this anyway. The first time I got hit in the nuts, And the time that it really fucking did me in is a girl kicked me in the nuts on the bus. You remember Jen Fisher? She said something about, I mouthed off to her about something. She was annoying me. And then.
Oh, so it was malicious. It wasn't like a.
She didn't do it randomly. She did it because she was pissed off, dude. And it was like the perfect placement with a hard kick. And I was just that feeling where you just have that electricity or like nerves, just your whole body is firing of it, just like tension. And it's crippling a little bit, right? Yeah. Well, it's not worth going too deep into that one. Because I do have one more pain story that's similar, but it's not a nut shot. But did you ever know John Wood? He went to middle school with us. He was like my best friend in elementary and middle, or at least in middle school. But then in high school, after ninth grade, or at some point, he moved to Edgewood. But John was over my house, and I'm going to guess that we were in 8th grade. It was right after this happened, maybe 7th grade. And I told John, and I was just making shit up. We would pull pranks on each other that were pretty crazy. Just to kind of preface this, like one time I had a stick of chalk, and I told him that it was cocaine and that it was like crack cocaine and you smoked this.
No way.
And that if you crumbled it, you could snort it. And he's like, I'll do it if you do it. So I pretended to snort some.
How the fuck do you pretend to snort it?
You just like kind of fucking mess it up with whatever and you make a snorty noise, but you don't really snort any. It's not, dude, I mean, like I was, it's like you don't have like a dollar bill rolled up. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So anyway, he snorted chalk at my house one time. Oh. I got him to snort chalk. And then another time, our favorite like prank to play on each other is we would prank phone call people. And every time a voicemail came up, we would leave a message. And it was between me, Matt Gramuth and John Wood. Whoever wasn't with us, like if Matt wasn't there, we'd be like, hey, this is Matt Gramuth. Would you please call me back? And we would just leave a voicemail sincerely wanting them to call us back as Matt Gramuth and give them their number. So like with John, his mom got mad one time because like we had called, I mean, God, probably 50 different people we left. Dude, John Wood. Imagine if like you're a parent and you keep getting all these phone calls for your son.
I love prank calls, man.
Yeah, that was like one that I really was proud of thinking of when we were doing it. I was like, man, this is so funny that all these people are calling back and just asking for John. Was John there? Because your parents like, who's this? They're like a fucking little kid, and it's like, this is so and so from this place or this business or wherever. Or he called me and told me to call him back, and they're like, my son, what? He called you? Yeah. But anyway, so what I did with John was I just randomly thought of it. I walked out of the bathroom. I said something to him about, dude, you know what feels really like weird? And he's like, what? And I'm like, have you ever just like flicked one of your nuts? So I said, dude, just try it. It's fucking weird. It gives you like a weird sensation. And sure enough, he went into the bathroom.
How old were you?
7th grade, maybe. It was right after I got kicked in the nuts. No older than 8th grade. I had to be in middle school.
Jesus.
And he went into the bathroom, and like 2 seconds later, I hear him screaming. Yeah, it did. It definitely got him good.
Oh, my God.
Just grazing it or flicking it is bad. I did it one time in a basketball game.
Yeah.
And like I just had a hand graze it and I like went down. I was playing like men's pickup.
Dude, it fucking drops you.
Mm-hmm. So, I know, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, it puts you down.
So something that was the nut pain, at least times 2 or 3, and probably the most painful moment of my life and the moment where I was the most in shock of what was happening. The B doesn't even come close. I was sparring with the striking coach for my last fight camp I went up to Delaware for. And he's this Muay Thai champion, and he's like 290, 300 pounds. He's lost some weight now, but he was big, like bigger than heavyweight big.
That's a big boy.
And high level kicker, dude, and athletic, can do like cartwheels and weird flippy things. He has like one of the only knockout kicks that's like a capoeira kick where you put a hand on the ground.
Oh yeah, and then like
did you ever see me share that video of the giant dude doing it? So he's Joe Stripling's his name, and he's an amazing kickboxer. Just you wouldn't expect him to be able to do what he can do athletically. So we were kind of boxing. boxing, and I have very long arms, and it probably annoys him that even though at any point in time he can take control of the match and just fucking let me know who's boss, that when he goes, when he plays my game and kind of engages in like the MMA boxing brawl, that I occasionally hit him, and I probably hit him pretty good, and it was like, all right, it's time to ramp it up just a little.
Just to let you know who's boss.
Just to let me know. I knew I hit him pretty good. Like, he was probably not, he probably kind of let me hit him in a way where it's like he's not expecting me to hit him that hard, so he's kind of just relaxed.
Yeah.
And one clocked him. So I'm standing there. He does a spinning roundhouse kick. So like if your lead foot, or if your rear foot is like your right foot, like you're standing right-handed.
Okay.
You spin and you like back kick with your right foot.
Yeah.
So your right foot comes from the left side, and it's your heel. Your heel is the hardest part to hit something with, too, by the way.
That's like hitting with a hammer.
And he kicked me what I am assuming is the liver shot, which I had never felt before, and I still have never felt again. It was, dude, I honestly felt myself leave my body. No, I don't know how else to describe it. I was locked up, and I was like, literally making this noise.
Did it drop you?
I couldn't inhale. I couldn't exhale. I crumbled to the ground in a fetus position, all curled up, and I couldn't even breathe. Fetus position. It's the same thing. So I'm down there, and I'm worried because for about 10 seconds, I can only breathe out what is left of my air to breathe out and make a weird squealing noise, which sounds bizarre because I'm trying to inhale and it's making a noise and I can't do it. So even this isn't enough. It was loud. And this dude, so he was renting half of the space from a karate gym where they just do like fucking dance shit. You're not dance, but it's katas.
There's like 7-year-olds.
No contact. Exactly.
7-year-olds in there going, hey.
Yeah. Hey, it doesn't matter. Yeah. There's absolutely no sparring.
First position, like that type of shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's all just, it's mainly just looking in front of a mirror or looking at instructor and moving a certain way. Yeah. And it's like solo, like you don't even touch anyone else. So they're watching us. Well, this one old dude stuck around and is watching a spar from karate, and he sees it and he's just like, what in the fuck are these guys doing? Yeah, he talked about it for a while. He goes, and you were there and you were getting tough on him. And then he showed you and he was all about it. He's like, I never seen that happen before.
Meanwhile, you're just trying to fucking breathe.
Yeah. Oh, this is afterwards we were talking to him. When it happened, he was like,
How long did it take you to recover?
Completely. Like to where I felt like I could even like breathe and move around and like
a
few minutes.
Damn.
For a solid 30 seconds, it was like the worst, dude. The worst. I laughed afterwards because I came back pretty normal.
Yeah. Like just a quick hit of pain, couple.
Within 3 minutes, I think I started sparring again.
Oh, really?
I was fine. I was moving fine. I could talk.
That's like
I was winded, exhausted a little, maybe.
Yeah, getting the wind knocked out of you type deal.
Yeah, maybe I was like just exhausted and drained from it for sure. It did something to me. I felt it for a while on and off. That was serious, man. That was up there. That's probably the most painful thing I've experienced, but I don't know. Almost passing out from the staff is up there.
Yeah.
But yeah. What else we got? We give another.
I got a wind knocked out story.
Okay.
I was probably in like, I was 9th or 10th grade. And we had just gotten a fresh snow, and there was this one like little back road. It wasn't a road. It was kind of like an access road on where I lived, and it was only a lane wide, but one side of it was probably 3 or 4 feet high, and the other side of the road was maybe 1.5 feet. So it was like a little bump.
Yeah.
On both sides. And we had gotten like 10 inches of snow. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fucking make a snowboard jump and I'm going to clear this gap. And I spent like 4 hours making this jump and hadn't tested it out or anything. And called, like, my brother was inside. I'm like, hey, Matt, come out, man. I just made this jump. Watch me hit this. I'm going to clear the road, which was probably 15 feet. And I went to the top of this hill, which wasn't very big. Started at the top, didn't even make a track to like pack it down and make it icy and make it fast. Just start at the top of this little hill, coming down, get to the top of the jump, and instead of jumping up, I jumped forward to like I thought I was trying to clear the road.
Yeah.
And I just Superman through the air. I was probably like 10 feet in the air and just landed on my ribs on the other side of the road on like this little hump, and just all of the wind got knocked out of and I was just on the ground like just
like a stinger, like a football stinger.
Yeah,
or something.
just fucking knocked me out.
I never felt that like that, but that sounds awful.
Dude, my brother was just sitting there laughing at me.
How long did that take you to like get your breath back?
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just sitting there going,
yeah. It's scary, right?
Yeah,
Have something like that happen.
That initial shock of the pain and just all the wind getting knocked out of your lungs, you just sucks.
Yeah, there was something else I was going to say. Something pain related. I don't know. You were talking about. Damn. Oh, I thought of it. How about this is one that like you wouldn't think of, but it's probably some of the more. So I have two that are very unbearable things I did. When I went to Japan, we arrived in Tokyo and went like to the city, and it was raining really badly. Mm-hmm. So my first night in Tokyo, I got a giant blister right under the pad of my foot and another giant blister over to the side of it. I had like 3 of them.
Those, like, it's that kind of stuff that you overlook
Yeah.
when you talk about the worst pain imaginable. It's those little nuisance pains. Like,
Yep.
blisters are the fucking worst.
And I had a like 2-week vacation in Japan.
Which is
And
all walking.
The first week, it was just it was so hard on my feet, dude. I couldn't figure out how to figure it out. Like eventually I was able to pop them, and like I would put padding in my feet, but it was very bad. I would like elevate my feet at the end of the day. My feet took a number on that vacation. The other one, and this one I'll tell specifically because it's the most extreme version, but it reminds me of about probably 50 times where I've had this unbearably in a similar way. I did a 5K one time, and it was this, I forget what it was for, arthritis maybe, and it was this Jingle Bell 5K because it was around the Christmas holiday. And we, as a team from the gym I was at, Ellie was this lady. We were raising money through her for the 5K, you know, because it's always fundraiser stuff. And we were Ellie's elves, and they had brought extra little elf costumes. Yeah. So I had these like Jingle Bell shorts that had like little jingle bells on them.
Actual jingle bells.
Yeah, you know, you've seen like those.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this 5K. Well, not even a mile in, I start to notice there's kind of a burning sensation. I'm like, fuck, are my thighs rubbing? I look down, dude, and one of the jingle bells had rubbed like off where it was threaded on. And there's like blood coming down on the inside of my legs. I see it. And like I had rubbed my legs so much where these jingle bells were, it was like rubbing them raw, not just like a cut. Like you got rubbed so raw that your skin just started bleeding. Oh, and it reminded me, I mean, and it was unbearable. I had to still run over 2 more miles.
It's like a fucking raspberry.
And my legs already rub. Yeah. I don't have a fucking thigh gap.
Oh, no, neither do I.
Not even close.
I am no stranger to fucking chafing.
I always chase my thighs, dude. It's one of the most difficult things to figure out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten bad. I use either powder, and then if you start to get signs of it, I use something like, not Vaseline, but like, I used to use Bag Balm.
I don't know. I'd use Gold Bond powder, and if I'm in a situation where I know that's where chafing's going to happen, spandex.
Yeah, that definitely helps. I have like a brand of compression shorts that are my go-to to not give me chafe, but it still can happen, especially if I'm just sweating a ton or whatever.
Dude, have you ever what's it? There's a reference in The Office, and then I think it's also in Horrible
nipples?
Bosses. Yeah, where he's like, to win a marathon, you got to put a couple Band-Aids on your nipples. Have you ever had your fucking nipples chafed?
When I was younger, wearing a T-shirt in like the ocean.
It happens. Yes, that's happened to me.
It's awful.
And it happens to me almost every year, especially at the beginning of the season before my nips get a little bit roughed up. But wearing a sweaty T-shirt at just work, and
that'll do
it's just heavy and just bearing down on them for 6 hours. That's the worst pain.
Certain types of cotton, man, are really rough, really abrasive.
Yeah.
It's like more abrasive than like the finest sandpaper. It's like, it's probably more exfoliating than like the smoothest sandpaper. You know that black sandpaper?
Yeah.
You're like, let me feel that. It doesn't even scratch you.
Yeah, it just looks like cloth.
Yeah. This is some T-shirts. We got another 5 minutes maybe before I got up. Bounce, but it's been a good episode to get back in.
Yeah, this is like our introduction back into it.
Yeah,
because I feel like we were hitting a pretty good groove right before the hiatus. We're feeling it back out. We're getting back in.
I definitely, I've said it a bunch. I definitely see more guests being a thing. Once we get into a scheduled recording thing, we have times we do more regularly. I have a few people who want to be on. Like you said, you just mentioned Thez. He's a great person just to call on a pinch and be like, hey, like some of the podcasts, I mean, I know I mainly listen to Joe Rogan, but either way, a lot of the other people who've been on his podcast, I'm in like the same core group of podcasts within this realm. They have a lot of regular recurring guests.
Yeah.
And that's always easy too.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. Oh, lastly. So Hunter, the other day, this kid, we were going to get on the podcast before. We can't.
You got to be more
that.
specific because he's done a lot of shit.
No.
Day.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. If you haven't listened to every episode,
are
of
you
the
talking
podcast,
about yesterday?
Yesterday, sorry.
End of the day yesterday?
End of the day yesterday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if we spoil it. The kid who was going to be on the podcast, who, I call him a kid, he's like 23 or something, but he acts like a kid.
Something.
He's very much a kid. And we were going to have him on the podcast, and then he did I'm not going to reiterate that story. If you haven't listened to one, I don't even know what episode it is, episode 4 or 5.
He just no-showed.
He Ghosted is the name of the episode.
Yes, Ghosted. We gave him a chance to come on and just bullshit for an hour and a half, and at 12, no word from him, and some dumb shit. You can go back and listen to it if you really want.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, it doesn't matter. That's what happened. Anyway, we're talking to him. He coincidentally had recorded 2 episodes of a podcast his buddies did, and he was going to be one of the hosts on it. And there was like 3 of them. Nothing's been released yet. I don't know the name. I don't even know if it will get released. But
it's
anyway,
like Barely Comics or something. I think like that's the tentative name that they'd come up with or something.
Okay. And anyway, yeah, that's right, because they were guys that he had done comedy with or something.
Yeah, stand-up.
All of them had just tried out stand-up.
And one of them's got like a
famous dad.
Yeah, baseball player dad or some shit.
I forget who, but it is. It's somebody.
Is it BJ Surhoff?
No. It might not even be a player. It might be like a I don't know. No, it probably is a player. But either way, I'm not going to think of it. But we talk about the podcast. I'm like, you know what? We're recording tomorrow because you and I were talking about recording today, yesterday.
Yeah.
And Hunter was there. We're done work. And I say, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity. You want to be on our show tomorrow? And he's like, oh, what time? Something. And then you said either 1 or 2. Like,
yeah, between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. on a Friday. Keep in mind, he doesn't do shit on Fridays.
Nothing.
But he did do the bringer at Magooby's last night.
Yeah. So he did a little comedy show thing. That's over by like 10 or 11. Even if you go out and party. The whole point was, And that's just the way life works. Cause I thought about it and he got really upset with the way I handled it, which eventually he was like, well, I'll let you know. And it's like, no, are you able to do it? And we told him the time and he goes, well, I'll see I'll hit you up tomorrow and let you know if I can. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'll hit you up around noon, 11 noon, something when I get up. And I'm just sitting there and I'm starting to think about it. And finally, I had the shits of it. And I just said,
it's funny.
I was like, you know what? Fuck it. No, it's off the table. You're not on the show. Just go.
Yeah, you're done.
You're no chance. It's not happening. What do you mean? Like, we'll touch base and see if I feel like it. And I left due to the way he reacted. I left thinking, was I just being like a little bit of a dick to him? Like, did I need to upset him and like be that harsh about it? And then I thought, could you imagine if you invited anybody else on as a podcast guest and they're like, oh, I'll hit you up like an hour before.
No. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't even know. Well, before the break, we didn't have many people listening. But
right.
Here's the thing. They're coming out with this podcast now. And at this point, however small that number may be, we have more fucking listeners than they do. And it's that much more exposure. If it's 5 fucking people, that's 5 more people that might
it doesn't even matter. He doesn't even know. He doesn't have any idea that at the end of the day, you're somebody who's trying to do some comedy. You're trying to get started off podcasting. Somebody's inviting you on their podcast. Like, I am just shocked that
trying to do comedy, you're using that very loosely.
That's true. Yeah.
But regardless, I mean, it's bullshit. He couldn't even fucking show up. Couldn't even say definitively if he could make it at 1 p.m. on a Friday.
You said 1 or 2, and then I was like saying, well, we should try to start by 1 because I'm thinking like with him.
Yeah.
You know, like, God, well, don't tell him 2. And then
give him that cushion.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it was like 1 or 2 is what you said initially, and he just was not he made it sound like it was unrealistic for him to let us know if he could do it.
He said he didn't want to commit because he didn't want to let us down.
That's when I
snapped.
What
does that mean?
I think that's when I said, no, you know what? Fuck it, dude. It's off.
Yeah, you're done.
No chance.
And it's not even.
And he pouted. He left. He got in his car mid me going off on him.
It's not even
drove off.
It's not even big timing him. That's just principled at that point. Like, motherfucker, you're not working today. You have nothing to do. You can't wake up at noon. You can't fucking wake up at noon.
You could. Yeah, it's like I don't even understand how that's a thing. Like, how could you not be somewhere by 1 or 2? On a Friday, and that's like your big worry. Like, oh, sorry, it's not at fucking 7 p.m., but at 7 p.m. you'd be starting partying, or so it's a Friday.
Yeah, especially
what time
him.
Do you want? Yeah, so that was interesting. I thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because I had thought about that too and saying something about it, but I didn't think it was like noteworthy.
Only because we talked about it, I thought it'd be cool to.
Yeah.
Circle back around. It was something else I thought of too.
I also thought it'd be funny to fucking call him while we were doing this.
He wouldn't pick up.
No, he definitely wouldn't. Yeah. He totally wouldn't.
We can call him one time.
Yeah, but it sucks because Maryland's a 2-party state. So, like, it'd be funny to prank him, but you have to, like, if you're going to record somebody in Maryland, you have to let them know that they're being recorded.
Do you think he knows that?
It doesn't matter if he knows it. We know it. Or I know it.
Well, I'm not sure. Let's not Google it and let's not find out. I don't think it's a thing. Let me grab my phone.
You have to announce it. Like, if we were to call him, you'd have to be like, "Hey, man, we're recording the show right now. Are you
what
cool
state
with that?"
is it legal in?
I have no clue.
Well, good thing we're in that state officially on the record.
Definitely not in Maryland. Yeah. Totally not. I don't even know what the
Welcome to
Canton, Ohio.
The Indian Reservation, Tokohama. I mean, that sounds kind of Japanese.
Tokohama.
So it started off a little bit like it might be Native American, and then
the Indian Reservation Sakura.
Yes. chopstick. No, sorry.
That was a reach. That's a big fucking reach.
All right. On that note, all this talk about Native Americans, I might get some sushi tonight.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Some lobster roll.
Cool.
I guess we're done.
We are done.
Episode 8.
Sayonara.
I
Is that Cherokee?
tried to think of a Native American sign off, and I couldn't do it. Whatever.
All right.